Mr. Nickel.
If I could just jump in real quick, maybe we can move on to FEMA and CalEMA. And if that's good, I would just like to set that up.
Everybody loves FEMA because they give out money with without all these conditions, right?
I think that's what they're here to tell us. But what I would like to set them up quickly by stating that Ryan and Len have primarily been talking about what we call project levies, which protect urban areas and some vitally important areas. But the majority of the levies in the Delta are non-project levies, and so the second major federal program that offers flood disaster recovery assistance is FEMA's Public Assistance Program. So we've heard a lot of talk about local reclamation districts needing to meet or maintain their levels at the HMP criteria. In order to do that, to do that allows them to have eligibility for FEMA's public assistance. And so that's why we have John Christensen and James Hartwig with FEMA and CalEMA respectively to talk about that. So just shifting gears just a bit.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. And Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that segue very much. Thank you. My name is John Christensen, as Mr. Nichols said, and I do work in the Public Assistance Division of FEMA Region 9.
Money bags.
The Public Assistance Program, and I'm sure you're probably already somewhat familiar, but just to frame it briefly, is financial assistance to eligible applicants, which are governmental entities, of course the state and anybody recognized by the state as any kind of local government, including the reclamation districts. As Mr. Nichols said, we do have funding available for levies inside the Delta, and it's very well captured the criteria in a memorandum of understanding that we have with the state of California that I'm sure you're probably also familiar with, dated March of 2010. That lays out geometrical criteria, including height, slope, and other types, revetment, and those types of things. To come right into why we're here today with the 17 systems that the Corps has deactivated from the rehabilitation and inspection program. Once a Corps or once a facility is in the Corps program, the RIP program, FEMA considers it to always be in the RIP program, or to be a better way to say that would be that they are under the authority of another federal agency.
This is the anti-double dipping provision?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So this only affects, and I do want to make this point clear, it only affects those levies and those parts of the system that are directly related to the levy. This doesn't have any impact at all on local or city governments, county governments, or their infrastructure that might be located behind those levies. And unless you have questions for me.
Refresh my memory, but everybody keeps, I believe the non-project levy property owners like you a lot, and they'd rather get money from you than the Corps, because the Corps, for a variety of reasons. Why is that?
I think there are several reasons. We have a criteria that they have to meet, which currently, at this time, is less than the geometrical criteria required by the Corps of Engineers. At this point, that is true.
I mean, you're like the Corps, you periodically reevaluate your level of protection and what meets it or doesn't, right?
Yes, sir, that's true. But I don't want to get confused with the National Flood Insurance Program, which will be addressed here in a moment. FEMA has their individual assistance, public assistance, and of course the National Flood Inspection Program and Flood Insurance Program. What we do and how we arrive at whether they're eligible or not, Mr. Chairman, is we rely on the reclamation districts to conduct their own annual inspections, as well as to every 5 years to have profiles and cross-sections prepared for their infrastructure. And we need those maintenance records and those plans and those surveyed inspections to be provided to us at the time of a disaster event in order to assure that those facilities are eligible for funding.